Hello and welcome to Audionautic Deep Space Network episode 64. This is our weekly music production, marketing, and technology podcast. Today we're talking noise synths or noise apps and a couple of interesting ways to use them. And we've also got a code giveaway for a new noise app from Wenamuapps. Many thanks to Alex for sending us a few of those. Then we'll talk some new gear, of course. And then Twitter competitor from Instagram. That should be interesting. And then finally, in the round robin, we'll talk effects change on the master bus. Is it a good thing? Is it a no-no? I don't know. Let's talk about it, right? Thanks, everyone who's joining us live. Let us know in the chat what you've been up to this week. And I also want to give a quick welcome to everyone listening over on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We appreciate you, and we've got something special for all of you with this contest as well. With me today, for the first time in what seems like eons, is Curtis. I'm just kidding. Is Eon Lake, and he's sporting a rather rugged 5 o'clock shadow. I just want to call that out. How's it going, Eon Lake? How's it been?
It's been rugged.
Hence the beard, huh?
Okay, yeah. Things are okay. Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for asking. Nice to be back.
Yeah, we missed you, man. What have you been up to?
I think I belong. What have I been up to? I've actually been taking a bit of a break musically, although I did buy a new synthesizer.
Oh no, what'd you get?
I got the modded out Behringer TD3. Ooh. So it's their version of a Devilfish modded 303.
Interesting. Very cool. Is that for the live set or just for you?
Just for fun.
Yeah. All right.
So you don't have to buy a proper 303 and ship it to some bloke in Australia and then pay an absolute fortune to have him modify it. It's you can buy them pretty cheap. So yeah, it's fun. It's got distortion and loads of patch points and another oscillator and loads of controls that aren't on the original. It's I like it. It's a bit.
That's cool.
But yeah, in the meantime, I'm just taking a little break, thinking about what I want to do next.
Okay, that's good. That's good. And I mean, I got to tell you, we're very happy to have you. And before I go to our next host, I just want to read a couple of chats we got. Survey Channel is in the chat. He gives some fire emoji. And I like that this one actually shows the emojis. Usually, maybe it's like obscure emojis that don't register or something. But what's going on, Matt? How was the live set? And then Bendu is also in the chat. What's going on, Bendu? Happy to have you all. And actually, Survey Channel already responded. Thanks to Curtis in the chat. He says, going fine. Set went well. Good times. That's awesome. I hope you got some video. But anyways, also with us today is our Audionautic co-pilot, Curtis. How's it going?
Yo, yeah, good. It's all good. There's been lots going on. It's been here, there. It's been everywhere, up, down, everywhere. It's been insane, to be honest, this week. I've been doing lots of rigging, mapping out a new studio space with a new Mac and a new set of audio treatment, new Behringer X32 compact with all the wires going everywhere. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, intense, but a lot of fun. I don't think I've ever seen so much cables in one space. And that's
hopefully there's some good cable management and not just chaos.
Lots of tape, lots of very neatly put out places, lots of stations. You know how much I love my stations. So yeah. How about you, dude? What have you been doing?
I have been ridiculously busy. I'm going to Hawaii next Friday, so I'm trying to get everything ready for that, all these different things. And then I was doing that demo for this noise app that we're talking about, which was a lot of fun. But it just feels like I get one thing done and then remember, oh yeah, I have 8 million other things to do, and the day just goes by and I still have so much left to do. But I took a walk this morning and I purposefully just went somewhere new. Like I just went to a new area because I've been living in this area for 2 years and I haven't really explored it like I did where I grew up and all that stuff. So I'm trying to make a point, and also just I want to get lost in areas and try to find my way back without using Google Maps. So that's what I did. And I'm happy to say I did get back, hence why I'm here. Yeah, I did make it back, and I didn't need Google. So
is it you have to lose yourself to find yourself again?
Yeah, well, it's just I like to wander like that, and then just trying to use my brain to remember, like, oh yeah, if I went this certain way, like try to get acclimated to the area and know everything like about where I'm going and things like that. It's just it's an interesting way to, I guess, exercise the brain in a way or something like that. But yeah.
I get that. Awesome. Excellent stuff. That's always nice to see. So we have
Juan says he likes to wander.
Yay.
Not all wander are lost, right?
Coming straight in with the dad jokes. So yeah, we got a jam-packed show. Let's get into it because we got a lot to talk about. We've got a lot of stuff to talk through. So let's start with our giveaway. This is our giveaway. We're very excited for it. This is Sunwarper is in the making. He's been hard at the whole networking thing. Sunwarper, what is it? What we doing?
Yeah, so we are taking a look at, we've covered them before. Wenamuapps. We did the Sinusidu app and I think the Soundfrews app, which was like a sampler, mangler, noise thing. But this app, I think it's a bit hard to pronounce. It's Broohahaizer or something to that effect. Sorry if I just completely butchered it. But I put a link to the App Store in the thing. Yeah, there. Hold on. I'll pop it on up. Here it is. So yeah, you're welcome to say it as you want, but experimental noise machine. So we've got a bit of a demo, but I'm just going to read a little bit about it first. So it's an AUV3 effect and standalone app. Features 2 sound sources, synth and modulator, with various noise and tone making settings. The sound of these 2 sources is passed to the ring modulator and then goes to a switchable filter unit. The app works as an effect, and the input goes to both synth and modulator sections. When the modulator is inactive, it passes audio input. And then all XY control pads have sustain switches, which comes in quite handy. But yeah, so I did a bit of a demo for this, and there's a lot to it. There's a lot to dive into it. I didn't have a lot of time with it, so I focused on taking some of these noises and chopping them up to create drums on the SP404. And this would work. You can get some like sine noises and things like that would be tonal, but this is kind of more atonal and more for drums. But you guys ready to take a look? Or Eon, like, do you have anything you want to say first?
Show me.
Okay, yeah, there we go. All right. I just want to make sure with you because you've been gone for a while. So, you know, I want to make sure you're included, right?
I did see a little sneaky peeky of this, and it's piqued my
Good, okay. All right, well, let's take a look at it, and then we'll talk the giveaway. So I'm making a snare here.
Oh, I like that. That's what you
just
mean.
Wait, man. That. I love that. Here we go. So we'll get a kick from this.
I quite like just this, actually.
Yeah, I made some noise with it, like TV static as well.
It's quite atmospheric.
I love that clicking.
Now we got 2 kicks and a snare.
There you go. It's amazing what you can do with noise, isn't it?
Wait, we're going to get a hi-hat. So put it in chromatic because I'm going to go up a pitch or octave.
There you go.
So 2 kicks. Here's some noise. And then that's not from that, but it's in my new sample pack. Yeah, I have all those drum sounds, that arpeggio, and a bunch of other stuff in a new sample pack. Sounds by sunwarper.bandcamp.com if you want to check it out. But we have a giveaway for the app if you want to make your own sound. So Curtis, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So Sonicware contacted the creators of Wenamuapps, of this particular synthesizer, and they've given us 3 codes. We have 3 codes to give away, which is really, really cool, really, really nice. And so we are splitting this and doing this in the fairest, most democratic way that we can kind of think about it. So we're going to put a question listening and listening back, your answer to the question goes into the comments, and the most liked comments by this time next week on
top
the
2
YouTube,
liked comments.
Top 2, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry. Top 2 liked comments here on the YouTube, and then across over on the Spotify. There's 1 code going when it goes up on Saturday, and they will just give the codes out to those people. So the question is, what is the most inventive way in which you can see using this app for your own workflow? I'll say that again. What is the most inventive way in which you can see using this app for your own workflow? 2 codes on YouTube. Put a comment in the link below and people can like it depending what they want to go for. And then 1 in the comments on Spotify. If you do post on Spotify, it is public and we need to contact you. So maybe put your handle, like your Instagram handle or your Twitter handle, maybe not your email, but something along those lines, so that we can contact you and give you the code if it is the most liked. So yeah, really exciting. I would like to see how these sounds get mangled in the future. So
yeah, and like I said, I just scratched the surface on that demo that I did, but you could even hear there is some tonal noise, like that bassy part, and I cut some parts where I got some really loud segments. I'll try to put the full video later up for all the patrons. It'll be on the Patreon Twitter, but yeah, so if you want to get in on the contest, just comment below most inventive way you can think of to use this app for music making, and then share it, do whatever you can to get the likes on it, and the top 2 most liked comments will win it. And then on Spotify, this episode will go live on Saturday. If you answer the question there, we'll contact you, as long as you can put a handle or something like that we can get in contact with you. And before we move on, couple of comments. Hydro Fighter says that he's busy but trying to stay in tune. Yeah, I mean, we all try to stay in tune, right? Max says sick beats, appreciate it. Yeah, let us know in the comments what you think, and hopefully you can win that. And then J-Bell says, why does it feel like 2 dudes were experimenting and we're having a laugh, and one said, bro, haha. Then they came up with the name Broohahaizer. Yeah, I mean, like Eon Lake says, he said, that's what I thought. And J-Bell, the comments will be after the episode airs. So just comment after the episode airs. Well, you'll know when it ends because you'll be watching through the end. But then as soon as it ends, just get your comment in and we'll go from there.
I have a feeling he's just going to turn off now. That's what it's going to be, just out of spite. But we'll have to see.
Well, it's up to him. I mean, you could do whatever you want. I'm just saying.
So we'll see. It's quite exciting. That's our first giveaway on Audionautic. So we hope that you guys get involved. It'll be really fun to see. Hopefully, as we continue to go forward, we'll do some more. But I suppose that depends on how much this is well received.
And we've got J-Bell, person turquoise waving. That's what I'm talking about with the emojis that don't show up. J-Bell is mad at you now. He says, Curtis has no faith. I believe in you, J-Bell. That's why I said that. But, you know, Curtis is Curtis. But I do want to add a quick disclaimer that I probably should have added at the start, but I was just excited to share the sounds. Alex from Wenamuapps sent over the code for me to check out the app. Has no say in the content that we made for it, and he was kind enough to send us a few codes to do this giveaway. So massive thanks to him. And yeah, it's a very cool app. All that stuff is cool. The app is $5 on the App Store, but we've got 3 to give away. So yeah.
Well, very nice. Yeah, one more time, just because I like the fact that this might be a little bit like Radio 4. What is the most inventive way in which you can see this app or using this app for your own workflow? So let us know.
Yeah, and real quick, Survey Channel asked, he asked this in the Patreon, and I didn't get a chance to check on it. He said, is it iOS only? I think it is. I know it would work with new Macs and things like that, but I think it's iOS only. But I'll talk to Alex and find out and let you know in the Patreon. But yeah, it may be iOS only. I think the codes I got are for Apple only. So yeah.
I think with most new apps, they tend to come out on iOS only because there's less bugs involved. I believe that's the case.
Yeah.
and no drivers and stuff like that. So I think that's kind of the way to go forward. They might come out later on. I've got no Apple products, so I'm always on the back end of this. But
Don't you have a Mac though?
I've got
Air?
I do. It's at work, so I can't put my own stuff on it yet.
I was gonna say you could make a little noise in the background, you know.
Well, we'll get there. I just have to solidify the relationship first. It's relatively new, but we'll see. Without getting into the day job, so to speak, this might be a good opportunity for us to thank our patrons ever so much. Thank you ever so much for your patronage. If you like what we do and you like what we're getting on with, please consider becoming a patron. Pledges start at $2 a month. We have a lovely little community growing here on over on Patreon. We have our own Twitter conversation, group chat, community, etc. And there's also the Discord as well. It really helps. It allows us to do more of this stuff. We love it. We want to do more. We have, ideas of where we're going. We're always evolving. So yeah, head over to patreon.com/audionautic, and I have it here so you can see it.
I've already got it queued up. Yeah.
There you go. That's teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work, doesn't it, brother? So yeah, that's what we need. Yeah. We are getting into some more pre-recorded content. Thankfully, because of our patrons, we managed to get StreamYard, which allows us to do more stuff with other cameras and things like that. And we're going to bring those to our patrons first. And so yeah, please consider supporting the show because it's good fun. We like doing it.
Yeah. All of the patron support helps us do this and more of this and demos like we've been doing and these giveaways and all that kind of stuff. So we really appreciate it. Starts at $2. You get access to a Twitter group, an exclusive Discord channel. We have monthly hangouts with all of the patrons over on Discord. And then we're going to be adding in a new kind of listening party type thing each month where we'll be doing a Binary Stars episode where we listen to 2 songs, what Curtis and I have been vibing with and the patrons, and we just hang out. But yeah, if you want to check it out, patreon.com/audionautic. And the link is also in the description. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, it's in the show notes. But thanks for your support. And of course, just hanging out is more than enough. So thanks for watching. And now we'll get into some news.
Yeah. So coming back, this is a hangover for wrong one.
Sorry, hit the wrong button.
It's okay. It's all good. It's all good.
The StreamYard learning curve, right? Thanks to our patrons for helping us get there.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've named this segment texture after one of the patches that you find on my trusty Ultron over here. This is a hangover from Sonic Booth. It was actually in last week's show, but we didn't have enough time to talk about it. This is the Sonicware Texture Lab, a granulizer synthesizer. Really, really cool piece of gear. A lot of the beats that I see from people are when they ask for feedback, what comes back to me every time is ear candy. Things in the peripheries of our existences which make it just a little bit more interesting for our ADHD riddled brains.
Peripheries of our existence. Wow,
yeah, over here.
That's very very existential for that. We're going deep.
It's been a hell of a week, bro. It's been a hell of a week.
I can tell.
Yeah. So this is a lovely little groove box. It's a little bit 8-bitty, and it basically is a sampler inside. Essentially a granular synthesizer with shimmer reverb and 128 step sequencer built in there as well. And I don't know, it feels like a really interesting kind of way just to kind of create lovely little textures and lovely little sound, especially in our ambient electronic world.
Yeah. I mean, they did that Lo-Fi 12 that we covered that I know you two weren't very jazzed up about, but I thought it was awesome. They seem to do some really cool and pretty affordable synthesizers, samplers, things like that look like they do a specific function, but they do it well, and they're a lot of fun to use in that way. Do you know how much this one costs?
$240 USD.
Yeah, see? I think the Lo-Fi 12 is like $250 or something like that too.
Yeah. So I tell you what, let's have a little listen to it. They've got a little sound demo.
There we go.
And then we'll talk about it. All right. So here we go.
Yeah, that definitely sounds peripheral to my existence.
Do one more.
That's crazy.
I know, that's insane. It's just called fear. It's just mashed. It's mangled. I'll leave it there for now because
imagine combining that with that Broohahaizer.
Yeah.
Well, he's that, yeah, with some.
You could just get into chaos with those two.
Completely. Eon Lake, what are your thoughts on that little box?
I'd like to play with it. Actually, it sounds a bit psychedelic. The things that you tend to get out of it, even the nightmarish stuff, they're kind of like, bad trippy. I really like it. I'd like to see more. Yeah, I mean, I may not always be up for some of these little things, but I like anyone who wants to approach product design or instrument design from a completely different angle that has got a vision, especially something that's kind of focused like this, where they know what I want it to be. It is that. I'm interested in this.
It looks
and
pretty
I like
cool.
little things that make weird noises.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Curtis, you brought this to the table. What do you think about it?
I am in a similar vibe. I think it's one of those where you could really, again, sample something and then mangle it in something else. It's something where sound design really comes in. It's obviously not the cheapest thing in the world, which there's some barriers there, but I do believe that in a world where everyone is creating some form of electronic music and there's a lot of clonage and there's a lot of kind of like people trying to emulate other sounds and stuff like that, this does give you something entirely almost generative, almost something completely different every time. 128 step sequencer. That's really interesting.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Can you put a link to the either the Synthopia or the actual Sonicware website for it? Because that looks really cool. If anybody wants to check it out and see more about it, what it does and all that. I mean, I think, like we always say, we should celebrate these unique sounding synths, especially when they're rather cost effective, in the sense of this one's like $240 or something, which in the grand scheme of things isn't that much. But yeah, of course, there is always a cost barrier. But there's apps and things like that can do similar things if you want something like that for cheaper. But like we always say with hardware, it's that tactile response that makes the difference. J-Bell in our chat is not a fan. He says, doesn't sound worth $200 to me as a VST. I mean, it's a piece of hardware, so it's not a VST, correct? It's a piece of hardware. Yeah,
it's a piece of hardware.
Yeah, it's just like the other Sonicware. So it is a piece of hardware. You can take it with you. I would assume it's pretty tiny because most of them are usually pretty small. And then Trauma Cake says, love your streams. Well, we appreciate that. Always happy to have you here. But yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. And like I said, we talk a lot about classic clones of synths and stuff like that. So seeing something kind of unique in its own right and stuff, always a good thing.
Can I just add to that? Trauma Cakes, love the handle. The notion of cake and like trauma in cake form.
How did I know you were going to gravitate to that? I just knew that you dig that. Yeah. Yeah. And J-Bell says he didn't know that it was hardware. Yeah. So it's a piece of hardware. Is it battery operated? I think some of those Sonicwares are battery operated. So it's nice, portable, small like that. J-Bell says, so yeah, I get that. Yeah, totally. I mean, you're welcome to not like it. It's not everything is for everyone. I did just want to clarify that it's not a VST, it is hardware. And yeah,
it's a way forward. But it looks awesome. It looks like a little box. Like I say, a little box of originality, something that will create something different every time.
For the peripherals of your existence. Right?
Purely, if you're too much set in the mainstream of your consciousness, there's something that sits on the outside. That is exactly what you need.
But I like how you kind of set it up as like an ear candy maker, right? Like just background sounds that you could have going behind the main bits of music. It sounds like it's fully capable of making legit, I mean, obviously melodies and things like that, but some of those sounds would definitely just be nice washed in reverb in the background of a song, or swell it up in a certain part to like really emphasize a thing, something like that. I mean, I like the sound of that. That first or second demo they did when you were playing, that was like, ooh, yeah.
Yeah. I think if you look at kind of where hardware synths are at, like we talk a lot about the Microfreak recently, for example, and we talk a lot about the DeepMind and we talk a lot about what these synthesizers can do and their sounds and their classic sounds and kind of what they contribute to the construction of a piece. They're all very much geared towards specifically that. It's rare that you see something that is, I mean, maybe I'm wrong here, but the notion of something that's specifically built to be a bit weird and to be a bit out and to do something. Again, in this world where everything's going towards the center with like streaming services and lo-fi and stuff like that, like this is specifically geared to the other, and that's awesome. The other.
Yeah, very cool. Is your cat still up above you?
No, she got down.
Okay, I thought that before we went live, one of Curtis's cats was above him in that. What is that? A closet behind you?
Yeah.
It was just, she was just standing there right on top of it. I thought she was going to jump down and attack him like right when we started. But apparently not. All's good. All's good in the world.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I fed her
what else
just
have
before,
we got
so
in the news? Oh, say it again. Sorry.
No, I just said I fed her just before going on air, so we're okay. Okay, so next up, our last piece of official news is coming out of Cherry Audio, striking the Novachord. They have a brand new VST called the Novachord, which I'm going to share here, which is an interesting. If our Texture Lab was something that's very futuristic and very sci-fi, this is something that is a lot more classic. Something like that, yeah. We have it's basically based on the Hammond organ that was constructed between 1939 and 1942, and it is a lovely little, basically like a little Hammond organ, and it looks pretty cool.
Polyphonic synthesizers, the Novachord, a revolutionary instrument that used a staggering 163 vacuum tubes, 1,000 custom capacitors, and weighed 500 pounds.
Now you get it in a VST, basically. It's basically a Hammond organ going proper cheap on Cherry Audio itself. It's 32 voice, essentially, and it's only for $40, $40 USD in this idea now. If you look at, I don't know if any of you have got Complete Control. I don't know if you've got anything in those kind of VSTs. They can be quite pricey. And if you're trying to create a kind of classic sound based on this, Cherry Audio, famous for their vintage sounds.
Is there a actual demo of the sound of it in that video?
Let's have a look. Let's have a little look.
Soon after,
we come down here.
Our friends at Cherry Audio,
you can hear it just behind the narration itself.
Music classics back to life. Novachord plus Solo Box, featuring the groundbreaking tone generation and ADSR techniques that continue to influence today's electronic.
That's cool.
It is.
And it's for both of those come together for $40, you said?
Yes, essentially, yeah. Obviously, he was talking a little bit behind what was going on, but the notion of having that lovely Hammond organ sound is a really nice way to go. And yeah, both for $40. They go up to $50 in June.
Still. I mean, if that's the sound you're looking for, or something to try out something new.
I love that marketing as well. Like, I mean, obviously they've done it like a very classic kind of like 1940s, 1950s American kind of like infomercial.
It sounded like they did the microphone right. Maybe that was just coming all the bit reduction from the internet and streaming. But to me, it sounded like they did that old school like microphone technique. The sound of it had that very old school sound. Bendu's digging the vibe of it. I mean, Bendu, you're the one that turned me on to Cherry Audio with that the MG1, that free Moog clone. That gets a lot of use in the studio here. But curious, Bendu, if you're looking to get that one and what you would use it for, if there's anything in mind you have, or just to have it.
Yeah. Eon Lake, is that something you're going to pick up?
I'm one of those people that, I've often talked about how what you do is an expression of all of your little foibles, all the things you like, your sensitivities, your, Hammond, it's one of those sounds I've never really liked much. And I've recorded like real ones with Leslie's and everything. And, but having said that, I did quite like the sounds on the video there. So I don't know. Normally Hammond,
maybe it's changing your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I maintain an open mind. If something sounds good, it sounds good, right? And some of those sounds, especially from the vocal part of it, were almost sort of Mellotron-esque, and I love a Mellotron. So I don't know, maybe after all, actually, despite being quite against it to begin with.
Everything's an arc. Everything's a character.
Yeah, it's all relative, isn't it? And you might sometimes find something you don't think you like, but you do.
Maybe just putting Supermassive on it will make you change your perspective completely. You'd be like, okay, I'm sold. I
was thinking more of like tape echo or something, but yeah.
Well, sure.
Mellow-fi.
Yeah, well, of course, Mellow-fi, of course. Benji says, I rarely reach for the Arturia organ plugins. I have, but that he has, but this video makes me wonder why. Yeah, well, dig those out then. Yeah, give it a try.
Yeah, I've recently been, as I'm staring at my MIDI keyboard here, and I've recently been using it for lots of Rhodes pianos and stuff like that in my live streams. And I'm thinking maybe it's time to experiment with an Hammond organ. It's another form, another classic form. And like build all the electronic weird shit over here and then make it kind of like the organic tones over here. Maybe we'll see when we get paid. We'll see.
There you go. Yeah. Couple bits more in the chat. Hydrofighter says, I have the same one, Bendu. I'm not a fan of organs in what I do. Yeah, I mean, I get that. But you never know. One day it just might fit right, Look at the Interstellar soundtrack, right? I mean, that, to me, I'm not a fan of organs, but when I hear that kind of thing, I'm like, oh, okay. And Survey Channel sounds like a fan.
Organs, yeah.
Hydrofighter says, I prefer using hearts, livers, and brains for organs. Yeah, whatever floats your boat.
There we go.
And Survey Channel says, techno organ for the next Curtis Loop Boop.
Maybe a thought. We are using some warpers mashed up or samples in the live stream today, so maybe there's something that will come from that.
They're not all mashed.
No,
some are baked.
There's some are baked. Diced, yeah.
Diced, yeah.
We got any julienne in there, though. That's the
thing. So we'll see. That is the last of our official news. But I get to use this banner. We did have some.
You gotta flash it. Really trigger.
But really, everybody fear and stay inside. We have breaking news. No. What did come up? What came up yesterday, which is the day after Sam Walker and I sit down and plan the course for the show, and nothing changes after Monday. We've realised that, but we have found out that the new Push 3 from Ableton, from Ableton has been released. Yes.
Oh, it's not a ticker. Hold on, I gotta make it a ticker. Hold on, here we go.
Make it a ticker. There we go. Push 3 got announced yesterday. Ding, 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 ding. We have some ideas of what it's going with. There's a few people who have got more influence than us who are out on the YouTubes who have been playing around. Apparently, they've had it for a while and they got sent out. Ableton, if you want to talk about the Push 4, please consider us for an idea. But yeah, it looks awesome.
We won't show too much.
It looks really interesting, not just because it is a controller of Ableton by Ableton, which is really intensive and extensive, not intensive, but I suppose it is intensive. But also what I find really interesting is it comes as a standalone DAW. This is awesome. Battery powered. It's got space in there as well. And it can run for, I think you said 2 hours somewhere.
That's what I saw, 2 hours.
So it can run standalone. So you can put sounds into it and you can record through it, both MIDI and audio directly into this little box. And then you can put that into Ableton and move everything around. We have a few Ableton users in the chat. For example, Hydro Fighter, J Bell, Sun Warper, for example.
I use Gray.
So it is out there. There are people who are talking about it. Anyone excited? I know we have some mixed reactions here.
Can you show a picture of it?
I can get one up while you're giving us your opinion. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really take a long look at it. I just wanted to mention it because, like you said, Curtis, we have some Ableton users both in this video or in this stream, but also our patrons and viewers. A lot of them use it. I know there's a couple not patrons. I know there's a couple of viewers who are like me and not the biggest fans of Ableton, but I like the concept of the push specifically. It's very cool. And I like that this has a standalone option. Here's a picture. And I just wanted to add quickly that my favorite thing about it is scrolling past right now on the bottom.
On the bottom?
Yeah, of our live stream.
Oh, it's not great.
I think that's the best part. I mean, let's celebrate, you know. I like the idea of push. It's very cool. I know Eon Lake has one, so I'd rather let him speak about it a bit. So yeah, Eon Lake, what's your take on the Push 3?
Oh, good. You've brought out another one. I think this is great for people who don't have a push and want to get a push. I don't really want to buy another one. I'd kind of like the one I've got to be supported for a long time yet.
Can I just ask quickly, Ian, like when did the Push 2 come out?
It was years ago. Yeah, it was a good couple of years ago.
Okay.
I like the fact that the reason I got it was because it's so tailored perfectly to the software because it's designed for it. I don't know if Akai are still building them for them, but they were definitely collaborating in the early days. Well built, solid pieces of kit. And I like what it lets you do, what it gives you, get away from the computer and but do the same thing that you're doing just without staring at a screen and using a mouse. And that was my goal. As far as a new one, I mean, yeah, there are probably lots of ways it can be improved. It's probably got a lot to do with MPE. MPE is just not something I'm gelling with at the moment.
Can you just share, for anyone not familiar with MPE, what that is?
Yeah, what is it? Multi-polyphonic.
Don't talk about it if you don't know what it is.
It's where you have multiple axes where you can add different movement to your sounds, but the sounds to me always seem quite modern and digital and of a particular type, and it's just not an area that I'm interested in. Sonically, I don't like the sounds. No. So I'm not particularly interested in MPE. I'll have to look at what the other features are. As far as it being standalone thing and, laptop supportable, do we need this? It's really good.
That's a good question because Bendu mentioned something. But first, Hydro Fighter's got you covered. He says it's MIDI polyphonic expression. And he also said, and Curtis, you can probably answer this. Hydro Fighter also said, I thought I read that the standalone setup is another $1,000 or close to that. So I think Curtis had mentioned, I thought it was just one Push 3 that was standalone, and I think it's $2,000, 2,000 USD. But Curtis was telling me that there's a standalone version and a non-standalone version. Correct, Curtis?
Yeah. So you've got just the general Push. I've actually got the website itself up on the screen if you want to see.
Here we go.
So yeah,
okay.
So you've got if I just zoom this in, free shipping apparently if you add to cart. You have the standard Push itself. Which is in the euros is 949, right? And then you have the standalone, which is it's about an extra grand or 999 odd.
And 8 gigs of RAM. Interesting. 256 SSD.
Yeah.
So what I was getting at, sorry, but like mentioned about laptops being portable. Bendu said, I don't feel like I utilize my Push 2 enough, but this has thrown my laptop shopping into question. But I don't think you can run VSTs on it.
It doesn't support third-party VSTs, no. Obviously, if you're controlling Ableton with it traditionally, then yes, it will work, but not within the standalone. It's kind of driven towards Ableton stock.
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like as someone that just bought a laptop for that portability and stuff, the flexibility of being able to customize the amount of RAM I want, the SSD and all that kind of stuff, and make it tailored for my needs was very nice. I mean, I'm not trashing this. It looks really cool. And I love the fact that it's standalone. You know me, I love separate things. And I mean, I know this isn't DAWless because it literally is a DAW, but it's just getting away from a screen or a big computer screen or something. But yeah, it's like you could bring a laptop and the non-standalone Push. But I mean, that would be money too. And then Bendu says, and the non-standalone could be upgraded later. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I quite like about it. You can replace the processor, the battery, and the hard drive as the technology improves, which is cool. But also, you can, if you just want to buy the normal Push, you can upgrade it to the standalone later, which is a kind of a I think that's a really nice touch, personally. I think it's kind of like
it's the right way to go.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say the prices are right, though. I agree with a lot of the guys in the chat thinking it's a lot of money. You could get a laptop for that. It's a lot more flexible. I mean, what Push gives you is control, fingertip control, hands-on, right? That's great. But if you're going to replace your laptop with it, then and get into all the specs and all the rest of it, I could just get a computer, right, and use a computer. I mean, a part of me wonders, where this comes from. Do we need these things, or has it come to the fact that computers and DAWs have become such perfect tools that now it's like, well, now we've got to try and do it on something else just because we can't sell that anymore. It's kind of evolved. I mean, you say it was 128 step sequencer. Well, I've got a 1,000,000 step sequencer on my laptop. Why do I need a hardware sequencer? It's just like, do we need this stuff, or is it just because we've sold all the laptops we can, we need to sell other stuff? I don't know.
That's interesting. Yeah, because it's like, where is the line of the whole likability of Dawless is getting away from the DAW, the screen, getting these portable pieces, and then this does that, but it's also a DAW. So is it? It's interesting. Like, where is the line for that? Curtis, what were you going to say?
Well, I wonder if it's a bit in the name of what is the potential? Is this the first step in what could potentially be another form of hybridity? Like, we see where I've got the marketing in my head, because obviously the next segment is the marketing minute. But we think about where Spotify began and about where it's going now, and it's completely different. It's completely changed, right? And yes, this might seem expensive, and it might seem like it's kind of, what's the point? But I mean, we don't know where it could potentially go in the future. It is a lovely way of having a very much a dedicated DAW in a kind of a more DAWless fashion, with the ability to move and record on the go. Like, that's kind of cool. You can just scratch things down, like I'm thinking about, like, when I'm if I'm at work or something like that, you can just scratch something down. Now, I know we have the Ableton Note for MIDI, but this also does audio. You can plug your guitars and stuff directly into it if you want to. You can connect a MIDI controller to it directly if you want to. And it's the beginning of something.
That's what I mean about, where is this line of the DAW-less DAW? I mean, obviously, yes, it's a DAW, so it's not DAW-less, but like, that's when you get a circuit track, so you can connect MIDI to it. With the SP, you can plug in and you get all these effects in the SP. With the MPC, that's almost bridging the gap as well. It's like, it's interesting to just think, like, where is this or what is this competing with? Like, this new standalone version, is it competing with MPCs, SPs, and things like that, or is it competing with laptops and other DAWs, or is it trying to be both? I don't know.
I mean, again, this is market for a converged product.
Yeah,
or is it the ultimate hedging your bets?
It's interesting. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and some of the chat, Hydro Fighter says, agree with Sunwarper from earlier. For the price, you can get more out of a laptop. Yeah, I mean, that's my thing, is you could get a laptop and, like you have, Curtis, the launch pad. And then, I mean, it's not as sweet complete or whatever as what this Push would have, but it's a lot cheaper, or at least a lot more customizable in that way. And then J Bell says, I will trash it for you, Sunwarper. It's too expensive. And Bendu says, is it easier to learn than the Octatrack? I don't have an Octatrack, but from watching videos, I think most things are probably easier to learn. Evil Ririo, sorry if I mispronounced that, says what Bendu says, and he also asks if we can have a cat reveal, please. I mean, Steve usually comes on the show, the one cat, but yeah, I'm not sure if Tina's been on.
She's a bit more shy. She's a bit more shy in ADHD, so she kind of just runs around mentally.
The chat's going nuts, so just a couple more. But J-Bell says, I own Ultimate Control. When I was just perusing, I don't know if it's because I just saw that Mortal Kombat announcement, but I just saw the K and thought Mortal Kombat for some reason. But Ultimate Control. He's at a lot of VSTs. If Native released a keyboard that allows you to install VSTs on it and eliminate the need of connecting to a laptop, I'd be interested in that. Isn't Machine kind of akin to that? Because that's Native Instruments, right?
Yeah.
And then Bendy says, I think regarding the Push, it's trying to be the heart of a DAWless setup. Yeah, but my question is, does it end being DAWless at that point? Because it's literally Ableton on a piece of hardware. I don't know. And I'm not sure how to pronounce that name. Sorry, but he says you've hit 300 subs. Well, thank you for everybody that subscribed, and we appreciate all of you. Yeah.
Thank you to every single one of them.
Yeah, thank you so
Justice
much.
for Tina. Yeah, you got to show Tina now.
She's sleeping. Maybe she might pop up in the live stream afterwards. We'll see.
Steve
But
gets
she's
all the attention. Tina.
Steve does.
Yeah, Steve hogs the attention. That's true.
He does. He is. It's usually his arsehole. So yeah. We'll have to see. I like this idea again. So coming back to what Bender was saying about being the heart of a Dawless setup, and you're saying, "Oh, where's the line?" Maybe this is the musical version of becoming the single consciousness, where there is no doorless.
But I mean, why not just connect a laptop then? Like that's what I'm doing, and you can control a DAW with sequencers or something, right? You know.
True, yeah, totally. I mean, I wonder if it's like that note, because you've got that syncability, right? You can go and create a scratch in the park, right? And then you can just plug in and go directly into it. What it does, it does session view, but there's no arrangement view. So you can go and make some scratches out somewhere on the fly, or you can go for a jam session with your mates where you're all plugged in or something like that. And then you can take it back. I suppose it's just about that kind of click, clunk, and just kind of like get everything in.
I mean, I'm just saying, interestingly, like you can do that with an SP or especially with an MPC, which is basically a DAW in a thing already. I guess it's just if you use Ableton, it's kind of that interconnectivity of having everything synchronized with the Ableton workflow, which is cool. And J-Bell said, yeah, but a keyboard, not a pad push like machine. Yeah. I get that. I was just saying that there is kind of a thing, you know, you could plug in probably a keyboard or something, but yeah. This is probably a question for Eon Lake, but not J-Bell. Sorry, J-Bell, but I will cover that. Push 3 is for someone like Curtis, who actually likes the feel of it as an instrument, I guess. Yeah, I suppose so. Here's the question. On another note, do you guys have any recs for good soundboards that are cheap-ish?
Soundboards, what, for the computers or?
I don't know. Let us know, Evil Rio. Yeah, let us know.
I'd like to know. Yeah.
What have we got next, Curtis?
Well, that is all the news for the week. So if there's anything we've missed, again, as ever, please let us know. We are just a couple of dudes who find the news. That kind of rhymes. So
real quick, while you're figuring out if that rhymed or not, they asked for my PC.
Right. So I mean, I'm only using external sound mixers or sound cards these days. I've had a lot of mileage with Scarlett ones. They do quite well. PreSonus is another good manufacturer. I don't know that they're particularly cheap, but they've got a good reputation amongst their customers for having things that do the job and are reliable. But yeah, Focusrite and PreSonus are the only ones I've ever really used. So I wouldn't like to recommend anything that I haven't actually used in anger apart from that. I don't know about you guys.
That about covers it. Curtis, do you have something in mind?
I like the SSL one though, but that's really expensive. And it's only not many inputs.
If you want maximum of input, the M Audio 8-track is really cool. I've used that quite a bit, and that's really nice. It's great for like a garage band or a jam band or something like that. I use the Roland Rubix 44. Only 4 inputs, but it also doubles up because it has like live capabilities and stuff. You can mixing, compression, and limiting on it, so you can, like I say, you can produce live. Evil Rio, please let us know what we're saying. It was a voice mods. I actually got a separate piece of kit. I use a TC Helicon C1, which is a pitch correction thing, which really modulates your voice. That's really fun and quite cheap and just fun to fuck around with, basically.
I'm going to throw out a weird one. The SP404 Mark II.
Of course.
USB audio. You can have buses that do mastering with compression, cassette sim, any of that stuff. And I believe it definitely has a vocal shifter. And I think if you're using audio input, you can even have pitch correction on there. There's a lot of stuff you can have on it. And like I said, it does audio over USB. There's a ton of stuff. So yeah, there's a lot to check out. I've only ever really used a Focusrite as my main one. And then, like I said, the 404 for certain things. But yeah, and then we've gotten some viewers on recently. So if you came on for if you came on for the giveaway, that was near the start of it. But just to reiterate, the contest that we're doing, you get, if we get the top 2 comments on this video after it airs, talking about what the most inventive ideas you can think of using a noise app like the Broohahaizer for music making. The 2 that get liked, the most likes, will get an app or an app giveaway, or the app code, I'm sorry. And then we'll also be doing that on our Spotify on Saturday. So yeah, just wanted to get that before we switch over to marketing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Curtis, correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a minute, so I had to go off. I don't have it on my notes here, so I was just going off memory.
Yeah, no, we're in the marketing now. Very much in the marketing. Yeah, SP for
I got it.
Playing at home.
So this is a very quick marketing minute, literally maybe bit more than a minute, but in the whole controversy drama of Twitter being taken over by Elon Musk and coming into controversy, Instagram are looking to create their own Twitter-like clone, which is compatible with things like Mastodon, for example, which is really interesting. So a standalone decentralized social network for sharing text updates as opposed to photograph updates. If I pop this into the stream so we can see here, don't know what it's about, but it's likely to be launching this year. Basically, I think, what did I call this one? The marketing minute. Yes, Twitstagram. Name me the word twit for anyone who, for our kind of English speaking, like our English people in the word twit, because you have to be using it. But really interesting idea. Another social media, another thing coming, another idea, another thing that's linked ultimately to Facebook. It's like Heineken owning all the lagers in the world. You know, it's like you have that illusion of choice, which is really interesting. But I just wanted to bring it to people's attentions. What I find really interesting, like I say, is it will be compatible with interoperable, with Mastodon, which is interesting to me. I still haven't explored Mastodon because social media, it makes me sad inside. But
you guys are times.
You say that again, Eon Lake.
We're behind the times. Eon Lake is on it.
Yeah, even I'm on it. Come on.
Oh, so tell us, what's it like over there?
It's like pound shop Twitter. I mean, I don't know. I haven't used it a lot. It works for sharing messages with like-minded people. I like some of the ideas and thinking about the way that it's built and that it's decentralized and all the rest of it, you know. But and it's, you know, open source code as well, I think, isn't it? I don't know, but I like that aspect of it. But I haven't used it a great deal, to be honest. Just prepped it, you know, when Elon came along and started messing everything up, just in case, you know, like a lot of other people.
I think it's definitely worth, if it is going to be integrated with Mastodon in that way, it maybe it'll give it a little bit of a boost. But it's going to be decentralized to a degree. It is Instagram, but it's not Instagram, and it's a whole thing. And I don't go on Twitter much, as in I use Twitter and I go on it a bit, and I've recently used it more, but I don't know how. I'm not affected by the drama because I don't pay attention to the drama, and I just kind of go, hey.
Really, to be honest.
But it could be an interesting way. So yeah, that's my take on it. Sam Walper?
I mean, I like anything that adds more options, right? Just because hopefully that breeds competition and less stagnation or something like that. That's, I mean, I'm sick of all these different social media things and, you know, different considerations in terms of their algorithms and stuff like that. But I guess that's just par for the course. But FCC is in the chat. He says, hey guys, so late today. Our label mate, Frequency Control Center, welcome. We're happy to have you. No worries about being late. We're just happy to have you with us. And he also says that Mastodon does feel nice, like Twitter from the old times. And we also have, oh my God, guys, get in. Let's take a photo for my Twitstagram. Yeah. I mean, Yeah.
I like that. Evil
I
robot.
mean, I would think it was just almost certain to fail were it not for the fact that they've made sure that it will work with another competitor. So that's actually pretty savvy, I think. Be interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah, that is a good point.
So we're going to have to see where that pans out. We'd like to know if anyone's using it. We'd like to know where everyone thinks about that. As ever, we are just a couple of dudes with a YouTube channel, which is growing, but we do this for you. So we'd like to know what you guys think in the channel or watching back. Is this something that you would be interested in? Is this something that you might adopt as we move further into the social media murky world of Jesus Christ? Let's have a look.
Yeah. And what is it they need to fix in doing this? I'd like to know.
That's a great question. That's a great question. What are they missing? So yeah, that's the marketing minute. Very short this week. Shall we continue to the round robin for now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. Yeah, hang on. Let me bring up the right banner. Ta-da! Effects on the master. For anyone new, we have got a few new subscribers and we've got a few new people over on the Spotify. The Spotify is growing every week. We thank you. Thank you for joining us. It's wonderful to have you here. The round robin is our discussion segment where we throw something out into the world and we kind of chew on it together. The three chew it on it, the people in the comments chew on it, but ultimately it's a community discussion. It's also a point where if you are a patron, you come onto the show. But yeah, so if any
patrons, if you want to hop on, the link is in the Twitter chat.
Yeah, it's very much. So this week I bring it to the table, guys. I bring it to the collective community table. Effects change on your master. Is it sacrilege or is it saving time? Having effects involved. Usually with these cases, we always have various different ideas of where we're going. Would anyone like to particularly bring it up today? Who would like to kick us off?
Yeah,
Leon like not been here. Let's have him go first.
Yeah, it's wrong. You should never do it. If you're doing this at home, you should just quit.
We have missed you.
Obviously, I'm joking, and obviously, I have effects on my master. That being said, there are reasons to do it and not do it, and I think knowing those is a good idea. So I always have one effect on my master channel, and that's basically that corrects my monitoring so that it sounds flat. So that's not really. I have to remember to take it off when I print stems or anything, because otherwise I print that monitor correction and it sounds terrible. But apart from that, sometimes I do use just control the peaks, the very peaks, a little bit on the main mix when I bounce it out.
You've been immortalized in the internet. Like you should just quit Eon like 9:03
p.m.
Wednesday.
It's clickbait, yeah. I sometimes control that, but even then I'm very careful and I do it with mid-side compression. So I only sit on the center channel. I don't sit on the edges, so you don't really hear it as much. But what I do and what a lot of people do recommend is mixing into compression. So I'm almost always got the Drama multiband compressor on there. Was it the 1973 compressor? It's awesome. Or some of the SSL channel compressors, bus compressors, just to get an idea of what subsequent, mastered versions of the song will do. Because as you know, if you're bringing down the peaks, you're bringing up the noise floor. And you will alter the balance of your mix slightly by controlling that dynamic range. So it's often a good idea to mix into a compressor so that you can hear that effect and get your balance right. And then you can take the compressor off when you print your song. And that way you still got, the ability to have that control at the mastering stage and to do these things. But you've also taken that a little bit into account into how you've balanced and set up your mix. That's my recommendation.
That is a great way. That's a great way to kick us off. That's a very, dare I say, it's a very engineering kind of good way of doing it from the start. It's the classic kind of like, if you're going to do it, do it this way. That's a great way to do it. I like that. Some
Yeah, the beginning was a joke, though. I was just.
No, I thought that
Joke.
was just your motivational speech for the day. Just quit. You know, yeah. All right. Let's see. I'm a little different from Eon Lake. I think if you know what you're doing with compression and things like that, it's not a bad idea to have it on and things like that. And I get what Eon Lake is saying about having it to know what it's how it's gonna color it. My one thing though is then if you take it off and you send it to a mastering engineer and they do compression kind of differently or something, you've mixed it for the way you do compression, not the way that they would do it, which might differ, or they might use different plugins that do a little bit of different coloring or something like that.
Sometimes you don't hear a huge difference.
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree. And I mean, like what I do is I mix first without anything on it. And then as I'm kind of ramping up towards the mastering, I just throw my full mastering chain on that. I don't do the 2-track anymore because I kind of know what I'm doing. And I prefer having that. If I need to go back and make changes, I don't have to go back to the mix one, change that, export it, throw it into the 2-bus. The 2-bus is better because the 2-track is better. Like bouncing out a mix with nothing on it, putting it in a new project file and mastering it there, you see peaks. You can actually see the waveform as it is and things like that. But I've been doing it for a while and I know what I'm looking for and things like that. So I prefer to just make those changes there. So yeah, I mean, it's whatever works for you and how you feel comfortable, I think is the best thing.
Especially if you understand the trade-offs and you're doing what you do for a reason.
Yeah.
Have a plan.
Yeah.
Have a plan. Come with a plan or quit. Eon Lake. That's the word. Yeah. Have a plan or quit.
That's the next
The chat's been quite alive. I'm seeing Sunwalker. Do you want to bring that into the
Yeah,
conversation?
Jimbo says just slap a reverb on the master, one long reverb for the lulz. And Survey Channel says that what you do, Eon, with the compressor, that's what he does. And
Yeah,
Frequency Control Center.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think he's a fan of the 1973 as well.
I gotta check that out. Yeah, FCC says love all this technical stuff. I generally have no clue, so it's great to get these nuggets of info. And Evil Rio says, I think our next topic should be convincing you all to buy those e-girl cat headsets and wearing them during the stream.
Wow.
I mean, I'm down. Head to Patreon. We'll see where we're at.
Yeah, Curtis can have the cat with him because I guess the cats just don't want to come on today. And I saw the chat above is pretty upset about that. You're failing the chat, Curtis. I mean,
I'm sorry.
We got cats who are missing cats. The lack of cats is gravely upsetting. I mean, you know, and then Eon Lake just tells him to quit. I mean, come on, guys.
I mean, we're a music production show. About 50% of our chat has been about my cats this week. So I will bring Steve and Tina. You can find them on my Instagram. And they do turn up in the live stream. Steve likes this chair when I'm not seeing it. So
back to music, though.
Back to music, yeah.
Survey Channel says I use what is that? How do you pronounce that? Drummer,
yeah.
1973 and Dangerous Backs EQ on a Submaster. I don't take them off when printing though. Interesting. Are you doing how much compression are you doing before you're sending it to someone to master? Because I typically like to not have anything kind of colored with master if I'm mastering someone's work, like with Curtis or anybody on the label or anything like that. I'm like, hey, send me one without compression, because then you get more room to do that sort of thing. Bendu says, I've used the Universal Audio Tape Sim plugin on my master in the past. Bad idea? No, I mean, that there's also this whole idea that's not compression necessarily, I guess it's kind of, but adding color and things like that to a whole mix isn't necessarily a bad thing. It really, like everything, it depends on the context. If you're going for that older sound or something like that, you know, that's something to consider. Yeah, and then Hydro Fighter says, I've played around with the filters on the master primarily just to do a high pass on the overall mix as an effect, kind of like a fade out. Yeah, that's an interesting way to do it. And he says, not sure if I like it yet or not. Give the people what they want. Yeah. Yeah.
That reminds me, I have done
there you go.
a few times.
That's interesting. Yeah.
But actually, as an effect, so it goes choppy, actually put very intrusive effects on the master, but yeah, only a couple of times.
Okay. We got another question about mixers, but we're running short on time, so we can cover that in a later episode. That would be something good for Curtis probably, because that's something I guess I would assume you're dealing with at the moment about mixers for a theater venue.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
Solid budget. Well, okay, so the standard.
Let's hold on. Let's talk that in another episode. We're short on
Okay.
time.
All right,
We will get
okay.
to that in another episode, though. And Survey Channel says about the compression that it's very gentle. Yeah, so that's maybe if it's more as just a coloring kind of thing. That it's cool.
A little bit, just a little
I
bit.
like that.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Tightens up the low end, especially that 1973.
Yeah,
really tighten up the low end nicely.
I like that. I take a slightly different approach to my master effects chain, in the fact that I put everything on there a lot of the time. I always have a visualizer, spectrum visualizer, because obviously in my ear, so I check the bass and I check kind of the balance of it in its own right. I always have one of those on, but also I have been playing around a lot with granulizers and with crush. What's it called?
Bit crush.
Bit crushing. Yeah. Bit crushing, filters. I play around with a lot with delays and reverbs to go off J Bell's comment. And what I like to do is I like to automate them. And so the whole track has got nothing, for example, and then as it fades out, you might kind of like, you hear it a lot in fragments. So I love doing it with ambient music and with the gentle stuff. Instead of like a normal fade out, it kind of like just starts crackling, and it's almost like the tape itself is just like kind of destroying in space and time, and I love that. I really enjoy playing around with that. I really like to do that. And the same goes for, like I say, it goes for delays, and it goes for even overdrive a couple of times, distortions and stuff. You can have a lot of fun with mangling the sounds on the master to kind of create that effect of something happening to the tape itself. We did it with Interstellar Daydream. It was. But
would you consider that like mastering effects, or is that effects kind of like how Bendu's talking about it, where it's treating the sounds?
Right. Well, I do a bit of that as well, especially in the live stuff that I've been doing. I've got a chain, I've got a glue compressor, I've got a limiter on that, and that's more for treating so the sound comes out for the live production side of things.
On live as well,
yeah. I tend to, in a similar vein to you, because you do all my mastering for me. I tend to put stuff on there just to kind of see how it plays out. Yeah. And then obviously get rid of it and everything like that before I send it to you. Because again, you want to hear the whole final product, so to speak, in its own right. Make it without, add it on, and then take it off to send it to the masterer.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it for the round robin. So, Eon Lake, what have you got going on this week?
What have I got going on this week? I'm still on my rest a bit, actually, but I will be using an SP404 as a sound card in the near future.
Yeah, of course you will.
Did I have another drink there, Survey Channel?
And Curtis, what about you? What do you got going on this week?
I'm going to have a look at something different, I think. I've spent a lot of time in Ableton. I've spent a lot of time exploring new VSTs. I think I've neglected this Ultranova for a while, so I think I'm going to go back to some sound design, taking a sine wave or a sawtooth and just seeing where I go. We have a collaborative live stream upcoming. So I think I need to send you a sample for tomorrow. So I think that's where I'm going to start.
Okay. So and you're going live in like an hour, right? 30 minutes, something like that.
It depends on how long it takes after our post-show autopsy, for want of a better phrase.
Wow, that's dark.
We want to find answers. Debrief, yeah. But yeah, either Central European time, either between 10 and 10:30. But yeah, I'll be playing around with your samples, your brand new sample pack. Me and Sunwolf are trying something cool where we're swapping samples and then live streaming with each other's sounds. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm kicking that off tonight.
Yeah, and then tomorrow I'll be going live, and I have a poll on my YouTube channel with what genre to make. So as of now, it's been pretty neck and neck between jazzy lo-fi with guitar sampling or dark synthwave on the circuit tracks. So it's pretty neck and neck. So if you want to decide what track I'm going to make with those sounds that Curtis sends, vote over there. Sunwarper is my YouTube channel.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. There is also remix/flip my new track, but that one's at like 26%. I think people want the dark synthwave or the jazzy lo-fi, so we'll see.
How dark is the dark synthwave though?
I don't know. I mean, we'll see.
Is it like Death Warper or
No. We'll get there soon. Yeah, we'll get there soon. We'll get there soon.
It's going to be a fun one. We'd like to know, thank you for everyone for tuning in this week. It's been lovely to hang out with you. Chat's been very alive today. And it's lovely to hear what you guys are up to and what you think about what we're saying, because we're just droning on about our ideas. So it's really nice to hear your different ideas, particularly for me at least. I love it.
Yeah, and the desire to see cats. We got one next episode. I expect cats. You'll have to tune in to see. I mean, we can't make promises, you know. And we also got just cats. You know? So yeah, we'll see. And Curtis, one more time, can you give the details for the giveaway?
Yes. So let me just go back up to our docket so I can see. So yeah, we have 2 codes on the YouTube, 1 code on the Spotify. The question is, what is the most inventive way that you can see using this app for your own workflow, this noise generation app? How would you use it? And put it down in the comments below after the show. People go and like and support other people's ideas. The ones with the most likes on the YouTube, the 2 top likes will get a code, and the one on the Spotify as well will give you a code on Spotify when it goes live on Saturday.
Yeah, and we will announce the winners next episode, so tune in and we'll let you know who wins. So yeah, Ian Lake, anything you want to add?
Good luck to everyone entering.
Curtis, anything?
Yeah, look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you ever so much. It's going to be awesome. I look forward to hearing what people have got, because I'm going to nick their ideas.
yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot of potential with it, so I'm very curious, as you were saying, to see what we're going to do. It'll be interesting for sure.
Very much so. So yeah, we'll see you next week. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.